Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Creating from the Heart. I'm Amashri Taparia, the artist behind this page. If you're new here, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you receive a notification every time I upload a Paint with Me tutorial. I majorly upload Paint with Me tutorials using the mediums gouache and watercolors. And for today's Paint with Me tutorial, we are going to be creating this beautiful gouache landscape together and learn few simple easy techniques to create the shadows for the pine trees and the water waves. So come, let's dive into the painting and I will guide you step by step through the complete painting process of this easy gouache landscape. So I have my paper taped down. I'm using an A6 size paper. For the sky, I'm beginning in with a bluish gray color. You can simply mix in your blue gouache with a little hint of a gray or a black tint, or you may use a reddy bluish gray color. Next, I'm going to be shifting into a little bit of a medium tone of blue. You can use either ultramarine blue or cerulean blue. This is just the first layer of paints that I'm laying down, and after this we'll be going ahead blending in each of the colors well with each other. Next, I'm going to be picking up a little bit of the violet color and adding it on top of blue and blending it well. After this, we'll shift into the tones of pink, yellow, and a little hint of the pastel peach color to create in that beautiful sunset effect. Feel free to use whichever color tones you are available in your palette. I'm going ahead with the pastel mixes. If you do not have ready pastel colors, you can simply go ahead, mix in your pastel colors with the help of white gouache. Pastel colors make blending easy, and when it comes to gouache, in order to avoid muddy tones, it's very important to make sure that you have colors going in harmony with each other. Now after the pink, I've picked up the pastel peach color and added it just below the pink tone. If you do not have this, you can just mix in orange, a little hint of yellow and white and get this beautiful skin peach tone color and use it here. Or you can simply go ahead and use in a pastel orange or a pastel yellow as well to give in that sunset effect. Now going ahead with the clouds, I've shifted to a smaller size mop brush. Using in the same colors that we used in the base, I'm going to go ahead, add in some cloud shapes and then blend them quickly into the base layer. So first I've begun in with the violet color. Now I'm going to pick up a little hint of the blue that we used at the top and going to add it at the top such a way blending in the clouds of the violet color with the top blue color. You see I'm going in very small circular motions to create in that cloud effect. At the base as well, I'm going ahead blending in with the base color. So this way you can create in simple cloud shapes. If you're someone who likes bold and hard cloud lines, you can go ahead and just add the clouds and not blend them into the base. But if you're someone who likes your clouds soft, blended into the sky, having in that perfect blend in the background of the sky, then you can go ahead with this method. Now after that, I've picked up a little darker tone of the pink, added it below and creating in similar cloud shapes at the top by just blending it with the violet color using circular motions of the brush again. Same way with the pastel peach color as well, going ahead adding in simple cloud shapes. You see we've added in the layer of colors again. For the first layer we just went ahead with kind of a color blocking to create in where which color will be going, and now we've added in the colors in such a way creating in little cloud effects into the sky. Now using the peach color, adding some cloud highlights at the top as well over the blue and the violet tones. A few things to keep in mind while working with gouache is that in case if you're working in with a lighter color on top of a darker color, wait for the previous layer to be completely dried, because as soon as you begin laying the lighter tones on top of the darker ones, and if the layer is wet, the colors will blend into each other and create in muddy tones. You can see using this mop brush, I'm just dabbing at the top of the tip and creating simple cloud like shapes into the sky wet on wet. Now I'm going to go ahead and create in the reflection to this as the sea area. So just going to go ahead with the same colors that we went in the sky but in the opposite hierarchy. So first for the sea space closer to the horizon line, I'm beginning in with the peach color. Now moving on to the pink and then the violet and the blue, because reflection, from the horizon line, you need to consider the colors that were last on the horizon line will be first just below the horizon line to get the perfect reflection hierarchy of the sky colors. So for the sea area, I'm just going in with a simple blend of the same colors. I started with the peach, a pastel pink, then a little darker pink, now violet, and then a little hint of the blue. And wet on wet, I will give in some soft wave details as well. Now using a smaller size brush, I'm going to go ahead add in some soft waves. I'm using this dagger brush from Princeton, which is very thin at the top, and as I move downwards, you see I can just flatten the brush and get these wave details. You can go ahead with bold waves if you're someone who likes bold and soft, the thick line wave details. And if you want some soft details like these, you can go wet on wet, blend in just as we went ahead for the clouds. Same way you can go ahead for the sea area as well, and just going ahead adding in simple waves using the tip, adding in fine lines, and wherever I want thicker and blended waves effect, I'm pressing the belly of my brush to get in those details right. Now as I move towards the top side, I'm shifting into the same colors as the base colors. So at the top, picked up a little pink, adding in some soft waves. See, again going ahead blending in because I like soft waves for this one. And now at the top, I will move on to a little bit of the pastel peach color that we used and add in highlights and blend them all in. So now we've added some waves using in the peach color as well. So what I have done is I've used the same base colors for the waves, just that in a little darker consistency than the base, so that the base is also visible, the waves are also visible, and all of them still have a soft blend together. Now onto the horizon line, going ahead with the first mountain range using in the bold pastel pink color. This is the first background mountain range. On in front of it, we are going to go ahead with a little purple mountain range as well. For the second mountain range, I'm going ahead with this pastel violet color, adding in the second mountain range. Make sure that your previous mountain range is completely dried before you begin adding this, or else you will not get the sharp look to this. It's very important for the previous layers to dry when you're adding in details on top of the painting. When you're creating in the soft background, it's okay for the layers to be wet so that you can get in the soft and soft details. But while adding in the silhouette details, it's important for each layer to dry out before moving on to the next one. Now, by the time these things dry out, on the right side, I'm going ahead with the sap green color first and creating in some far off tree and bush details. So first I'm going ahead with the sap green color using in a pointed tip round brush, just adding in simple strokes like these in different height lengths, and going to just go ahead and in front of it I will be adding in the second layer using in the Payne's gray color. So now for the second layer, I'm going ahead with the same method but using in the black color. You can use black, grey, Payne's grey or a darker brown, whichever you wish to. And just creating in the similar kind of far off tree details. But this time the length will be shorter as compared to the green ones that we added, so that the green background trees that we've added are also visible equally. So you see, just going ahead with very thin strokes, make sure you're using a pointed tip brush so that you can get these simple details right and in a very easy way. Same way, using in the black color, adding in few of the details here as well. Just very small ones, because on the left side here, I'm going to go ahead with two huge pine trees as well. So now going ahead with the huge pine tree here. So I've just gone ahead with the center stem, and now I'm just going to move crisscross using in this black color first and add in the foliage detail. After this, once this black layer dries out, we'll go ahead with the green color and add in the highlights. With gouache, the lighter colors also perfectly work on the darker tones and are, and they dry out perfectly and visible perfectly because of the opacity of these paints. So even on a black color, when you will add the highlights with the green color, after drying, it will give it that perfect pop out of the green and the highlight tones. It is not necessary to first work with green and then move on to the black, because with gouache, because of the opacity, you can even lay the lighter colors over the darker tones easily. Adding another pine tree here quickly, and then we'll wait for this to dry, and by then we'll begin adding in the shadow details. So we are done adding in two of these pine trees here, and now let's go ahead add in the shadows to all of the greenery details that we've added on the horizon line. So first on the right side here, I'm just marking a thin line with the black color first, leaving in intentionally that peach color visible in between as the water space, and then now we'll use a fan brush technique to create simple shadow. So what you're going to be doing is you will first pick up the green and the black tones. Now using a dry fan brush, just pull out this green color using the tip of the brush. You see, we've got such a beautiful shadow reflection, basically a reflection of the top space. Now, if you want, you can go ahead with another layer of the paints, or you can add a little hint of the black color at certain spots and use the same technique to pull out some darker black details. So I'm going ahead with a black layer now on top and going to pull out similar kind of reflection. You see the green is also visible, the black is also visible, and we've used such a easy quick technique to create realistic reflections or the shadows to the foliage into the water space. Same way for the pine trees. Now I'm going to go ahead with a simple method. I will create a completely opposite pine tree here. So first going ahead with the black color. If you want, you can simply tilt your paper as well and go ahead and create a pine tree in a regular way if adding the pine tree in the opposite manner is difficult for you. Now adding the reflection to this smaller pine tree as well. Now I'm going to begin adding in the green highlights on top of the pine tree. Now the green highlights will be in such a way that the black spaces are visible and they just need to act in as the highlighting spot. So just adding in simple strokes of the green color, and then I will use the black color again a little to blend things well with each other. And we'll add this green color highlights into the reflection as well. The pine tree reflections was simple and easy. You just had to create an inverted pine tree into the sea space, and as I told you, you can tilt your paper and add them in the same way as we added at the top as well. So just adding in the green highlights and the reflection spaces as well. Now Now to give the reflection a realistic effect, I've picked up the pastel peach color, and in between here as well, just adding in simple peach strokes in between the reflection pine tree to show the water and give that little cuts to the shadow, which will make the shadow look more realistic in the water space, and showing the movement of water as well in between the pine tree reflection. On the right side, you see we had already left that fine peach line in between the reflection. So here also just added little highlights of the peach color to give that water flow and movement and give the shadow a realistic effect. Now just giving in some final touches to the foliage in the center and giving in different heights, adding in the final touch up, and we are ready with this beautiful simple gouache landscape. You see the clouds after drying look so pretty. While they were wet, they looked a little messy and we could have overdone it, but it's very important to be patient and wait for them to dry as well before taking up the next step. Now just blending these little water movements well with the greens as well. And now let's peel off the masking tape and see the final painting. So before you begin peeling off the masking tape, make sure the edges of your painting are all completely dried, because if they will be wet, then the paints will move into the clean edges that you are trying to achieve using in the masking tape, and pull it against the paper gently and soft. In case if your masking tape has dried out too strong to the paper, you can use a hair dryer and just loosen up the tape glue as well, and then peel it off easily. If you like this paint with me tutorial, do not forget to hit the subscribe button for more such paint with me tutorials on my channel. And if you guys recreate this, I would love to see your recreations. So do tag me at the handle creating from the heart. Thank you so much for joining in and watching.